All right, let's just jump right in. The hype around AI is, well, it's everywhere, right? And it feels like you have to pick a side. Is it the machine that's going to take all our jobs? Or is it the magic engine that's going to build us a work-free paradise? Well, today we're going to explore a pretty bold argument that says both of those extremes are completely wrong for the exact same reason.
This feeling isn't exactly new. Think about it. The printing press, the steam engine, the internet. We've been here before, time and time again. This time around, the machine just happens to write emails and draw pictures. But that mix of panic and excitement, that's classic. It's a great reminder that maybe, just maybe, our current freakout is just the latest chapter in a very old story.
So this really boils down to two main camps. In one corner, you've got the job-eating doom machine. This is the idea that AI will just become this unstoppable force, making human workers totally obsolete. And in the other corner, you have the frictionless paradise engine, the belief that AI will solve all our problems and create a world of effortless abundance. It's either heaven or hell with not a lot of room in the middle.
But here's the real kicker, the question at the heart of this whole thing. What if that choice is a complete illusion? What if the very same thing that stops AI from becoming a world-ending monster is also the thing that stops it from being a world-saving miracle? That's the idea we're going to unpack right now.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle that doom machine idea. Then we'll flip the script and look at the paradise engine. That's going to lead us straight to the main event, the human bottleneck. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with what some are calling the nothing burger conclusion. Let's get into it.
Okay, part one, not a doom machine. Let's really dig into why that dystopian future of mass unemployment might be missing the bigger and, frankly, much messier picture of how work actually gets done in the real world.
And this right here is such a critical distinction. Look, AI is genuinely brilliant at specific, well-defined things. It can write a block of code, or analyze a spreadsheet, or design a logo faster than any person. But a job is almost never one single clean task. It's a chaotic, messy bundle of 100 different things. Because this is what real work actually looks like, right? It's dealing with vague instructions from your boss. It's handling that one super weird edge case that only pops up twice a year. It's navigating office politics, and crucially, it's taking the fall when something goes wrong. AI is fantastic in a controlled environment, but our jobs, they exist out here in the wild. Here's maybe the best way to put it. An AI can do the typing, but it can't take the responsibility. It can draft the email, write the report, or generate the code, and that's an incredible productivity boost. But it can't be held accountable. It can't face an angry client or take ownership of a critical mistake. That final sign-off, that responsibility, always comes back to a person. So let's just get practical for a second. When an AI messes up, and believe me, it will, how do you actually fix it? I mean, if your coworker makes a mistake, you can just talk to them. You explain what went wrong, you correct it, you move on. With an AI, it's a whole other, way more complicated story. I mean, just look at this whole chain of events. Fixing an AI isn't a quick chat. It's this massive technical ordeal. You need specialists, maybe you have to redesign the whole workflow, you gotta check the logs, file a ticket with a vendor, maybe say a little prayer. It's a logistical nightmare compared to just grabbing a coffee with someone to sort things out.
And that's before we even talk about what most real companies look like under the hood. They are not these sleek, optimized machines just waiting for an AI brain transplant. They're messy. They're running on ancient software, undocumented processes. We all know that one person, the Carol, who holds the whole department together with their secret knowledge. It's all held together with compliance duct tape and just vibe.
So what all this points to is that the first big shift isn't about job loss, it's about job mutation. AI doesn't just fire the human, it changes their role. The person becomes the supervisor, the editor, the person who handles all the weird exceptions. The job doesn't vanish, it just evolves. And that's not an apocalypse, it's just the next phase of how we work.
Okay, this brings us to the absolute core of the whole argument. The one big idea that explains why both the doom and the utopia predictions miss the mark. This is the pivot of our whole explainer, the human bottleneck. So what is the human bottleneck? Well, it's us. It's our collective, kind of inescapable talent for complicating things. We create committees, we argue endlessly about regulations, we underfund the important stuff, and we generally just get in our own way. This human friction is the great speed limit on any technological change. So, now that we have this idea of the human bottleneck in our heads, we can finally take on the other side of the coin, the techno-optimists. And this is where it gets really interesting, because we're going to use the exact same logic we just used on the doomsayers.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap what we figured out in the first half. AI isn't some autonomous worker that you can just plug in and walk away from, right? It's fragile, it needs constant supervision, and it can't take real responsibility inside our messy human systems.
And there it is. That's the punchline. If a system isn't autonomous enough to fully replace a human, then it also isn't autonomous enough to liberate that human. The exact same limitations apply. You know that whole dream of a post-work utopia? It's built on this idea of automated abundance, of systems that just run themselves. But if AI always needs a human in the loop to watch over it, to fix its mistakes, and to be accountable, then it's not some magic liberation engine. It's just a really, really good tool. A powerful tool for sure, but still just a tool. And that brings us to what might be the perfect metaphor for this entire argument. Just imagine technological progress is like water flowing through a giant fire hose. The potential is massive, the faucet is on full blast. But it doesn't matter how much water is ready to come out if someone is standing on the hose. And we, humanity, are always standing on the hose. We get bogged down in endless political fights about safety and regulation. Corporate incentives are all about short-term profits, not long-term investment. We invent these amazing tools and then immediately find ways to misuse them. This is the human bottleneck, in action, kinking that hose at every single turn. So where does all of this leave us? It leaves us here, with our conclusion, the nothing burger. Once you strip away all the hype from both the doomsayers and the utopians, what are you actually left with? Well, the answer isn't a monster, and it's not a miracle. It's something way, way more familiar.
So I think the real takeaway is this. AI isn't some alien force that's acting on us. It's a powerful tool that's acting through us. It's going to be shaped and limited and twisted by all of our existing systems, our governments, our companies, our flaws, and yeah, our brilliance too. And because of that, the actual outcome is going to be a lot more grounded, it's going to be messy, and uneven. It'll be way slower than anyone predicts. It'll be genuinely useful, but for a lot of people, kind of disappointing. And then, every once in a while, it's going to be absolutely, breathtakingly incredible.
Which brings us to this final thought. Maybe the ultimate story of AI won't be about the technology at all. Maybe it's just about us. It'll be powerful, it will change things, but it's going to be fundamentally human, served up with all of our usual brilliance and all of our usual brokenness. It's a tool that's just going to magnify who we already are. So what do you think that says about where we're all headed?